You told me that for your candle business, you told me that you don't rely on any campaigns or any paid ads, and you're just relying on the organic marketing. Can you tell me just a little bit about this? Because for me, how this business can survive if you don't have like a marketing machine?
I tried to go through the marketing route. I've tried paid ads, Google ads. Obviously, I've tried a few other things too, but what I understood is like, if you keep targeting ads to someone that doesn't understand the technical side of things, then it's just, you're wasting a lot of your own effort and budget, marketing budget. So I turned that around by being more of an educational candle platform, whether you wanted to buy from us or not. But here's some tips and tricks. Here's some guide if maybe you're making candles abroad or making candles anywhere around the world. We can help you free of charge. And here's the information to start your journey. And if you want to start your journey, we're still here helping you.
I want a good life, filled with highlights, and I want someone like you. I want paradise with the sunset, if I could only be with you.
Ahmed, are you ready to unleash?
I'm ready, always ready.
Before we start, what will be the percentage of unleashing?
110.
112. A pleasure having you today. And once I just go over your profile, I saw that you are a serial entrepreneur. The always question that I'm always asking here, why did you choose being an entrepreneur?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me, Ahmed. It's definitely a pleasure to be here. The reason why I'm here is because I've always liked to be in an uncomfortable situation. If I was too comfortable, I get too lazy, and I have too many thoughts going on around. So I've always wanted to just stay busy and busy and busy.
Always like that. Yeah. I saw that you have a lot of businesses before, right? Some were successful and some you exited, right?
Yeah.
Can you tell me like a situation where you exit the business and what was the main reason before you exited?
I can tell you many situations that I was in. One of them was, first of all, I've always wanted to be independent. I've always wanted to make my father proud by showing him that I can do it. And whatever it took, I had to go through it. So if I start a business and it fails, if I quit it, or if I left, or if I started a new one, whatever it was just to make sure that I end up as being independent. Some of the situations of why I have exited other businesses, because it just didn't work out, or maybe there was no market fit for it, or maybe I was solving the wrong problem in the market. One of the main startups that I've had in the past was stallhunt.com. It was basically a business that allows anyone to find a pop-up store or a cloud kitchen to operate from right away. And I believe that was a great idea. It was a fantastic idea. One of the people that reached out to me, his name was Alex. He's the founder of Burger 28. He told me, Ahmed, you're up to something if you figure out how it works. When he said that, I was like, shit, I am up to something. But then 2 or 3 months later, it was there's a very difficult gap in there that I couldn't solve by myself. And that was something that was out of my control. So I had to eventually shut it down or pivot. I actually used the same trade license for another startup of mine called Book Any Service or Book Any Act. We were one of the first people to offer corona tests at home.
At the time of Corona, huh?
At the time of Corona. We were probably the first one that was availing it to the mass. And then we were also the people behind putting the corona test on Just Mob. So it was very easy for you to book it on demand. But yeah, it was it was great. We had entertainers on demand. We've had chefs on demand. And I exited. I sold my shares to my partner, and I got married. And when I got married, I think everything that everything that I've become today is thanks to my wife. And to this day, it's also thanks to my newborn, 4 months old baby. I'm here for them, and it's, you know, everything is just became 10 times more serious than it was. So I don't like being comfortable. Yeah.
So, if I ask you, what will be the biggest learning that you have had from the first pitfall that you have had in your first business?
You will always want to quit. You will always want to give up. You will always want to go back to the norm. You will always want to just, maybe not lazy is the right term, but you will always want to just give up. And trust me, believe me, I've given up many, many times. Like, I've bootstrapped so many startups. I've started so many startups. Some of them worked out, some of them didn't. Some of them worked out for a while and then didn't. But I learned one thing, that's just don't give up. And with my latest startup, the Candle Start, I still call it a startup because I'm the only person working in it for the last 4 years. I mean, of course, with the help of my wife. I didn't give up. And now we have a shop in UO Market opposite Expo City. And, you know, the challenge is still there. You still want to give up, but just don't. That's it. Don't give up. That's it.
It's not easy, I know.
Yeah.
So, did you have any time in your life during this entrepreneurial journey that you thought that maybe you would jump out of entrepreneurial journey and move into corporate?
Well, there were many moments where I've sent across my CV to keep my startup afloat. I would require to find a job with a steady salary and hire someone to take care of it while I'm not around. I have done that just to make sure the startup survives. Eventually, I didn't get a job, so I had to make it work regardless. You gotta make it work. That's one challenge. Like, I'm not sure about this study, but like only 0.04% of startups make it worldwide, and getting to that number, I'm nowhere close to that number for sure.
You were just looking for a job because of the cash, or
Yeah, to keep my business afloat, like to cover my basics, to start going out with my wife for dinner or something. I mean, without my wife, honestly, I wouldn't be here. You know, she's been super supportive. She's been very encouraging, very motivational, and honestly, it's been hard, and it still is. But we're here. You know, we're definitely here, and we gotta make it work.
That's beautiful, man.
Yeah.
One of the things that intrigued me when I met you, just face to face, you told me that for your candle business, you told me that you don't rely on any campaigns or any paid ads, and you're just relying on the organic marketing. Can you tell me just a little bit about this? Because for me, how this business can survive if you don't have like a marketing machine?
So I tried to go through the marketing route. I've tried paid ads, Google ads. Obviously, I've tried a few other things too, but what I understood is, like, if you keep targeting ads to someone that doesn't understand the technical side of things, then it's just you're wasting a lot of your own effort and budget, marketing budget. So I turned that around by being more of an educational candle platform, whether you wanted to buy from us or not. But here's some tips and tricks. Here's some guide if maybe you're making candles abroad or you're making candles anywhere around the world. We can help you free of charge. And here's the information to start your journey. And if you want to start your journey, we're still here helping you. So I thought that was, you know, there's so many things that we've done and we're still doing. We want to foster a community. We want to make sure the candle makers grow. If they grow, we grow. But if it's just about targeting, you're not going to get anywhere. You might get somewhere, but probably not going to get. With candles, it's just different.
I can understand.
It's just different. Yeah, it's just different. And it's not something that I thought about before entering this business. It's something that I figured out later on. Back then, it was like, okay, you know what? I'll be a supplier. I'm going to start trading 1 or 2 products. I ended up with 400 SKUs, like out of nowhere. And then suddenly it was this, it was that. It was like, okay, you know what? We're here. We're doing it. Let's do it.
But how do you manage this portfolio?
Yeah.
How do you manage all of this? I know that you have a lot of the back end with your family and also on other businesses.
Yeah.
How do you manage your time between all these businesses?
I don't.
I love that you're very authentic about how do maybe you think about it?
Well, when you commit, you got to commit. And also when you commit, you also got to make sure you're waking up early, getting your stuff done early, and getting everything done. I think that's one of the main traits that I have, getting things done before they should be done. Like one of the challenges we used to have, delivery within 2 days. Today we're delivering across Dubai within 2-3 hours.
Wow.
From Jebel Ali. That's huge. Like my last 10 orders were delivered within 2 hours max. And we want to do better. Even if, let's say I figured out a system that works, no, you gotta always do better. Always try to make a better system out there for you that is efficient, that is automated in a way or another. Of course, website is one of the main things that automates a lot of things. And then you've got chatbots. We're not using chatbots. We want to have that human interaction. And when you're in the craft market, it's always about answering a lot of questions, troubleshooting, and helping the customer work with the craft they're working on. Yeah.
Before we enter here the podcast, you told me that you have another business, right? You're trying to do. I love that you're being a serial entrepreneur. The intrigued question that came into my mind, that how do you spot the problems and how do you build the business around it?
So here's the thing. The only reason why I'm starting another business is to keep my main business afloat. Being a specialized candle making supplier in a seasonal market is very, very tough. Sure, maybe long term it's a good thing, but like we all know winter here is probably 4 to 6 months. But what do you do in the other 6 months when no one is buying from you as a supplier? Like, what do you do? And that's what I faced. Last summer, it was very tough for me. It was super tough. We used to get like probably 1 order a week or maximum 2. And I was just constantly like, I don't know what to tell to my wife. Like, I don't know what to tell her. Eventually I did, but we talked it out. There was a moment of quitting and stopping and stuff. Anyway, the market is small that I'm currently in. So I've got to target a market that is established or there's a higher demand that allows me to have another revenue of income and cover my basics and cover my rent of the existing business. That's why it happened. That business is goes a little bit hand in hand with the existing business, which is packaging. So I think a lot of our customers require packaging. A lot of the packaging suppliers in the country aren't startup friendly. We try to facilitate that on their behalf, being startup friendly. Because it's not just being a supplier by selling, but it's also by trying to be as friendly as possible for them to succeed with as little as we can to help them get to that stage. That was the main reason.
Just, I believe that any new business would require like a lot of cash, right?
Yeah.
At the beginning, if you open a new business, how do you manage your cash flow?
I started all my businesses with $200 max.
No way.
All of them. All of them.
200.
All of them.
How did you move these cash, man?
All of them.
How?
I started everything with $200. This business was started by selling the item on Dubizzle. And then That money just slowly doubled, tripled, and slowly I started getting a trade license. Well, I went from Dubizzle to Facebook, and then I don't know what, and then I went super legit by opening a proper business online. And then we opened the shop. So until today, whatever we're making goes back into the business to make this market, like to facilitate or provide or supply to this market as much as we can. Sure, the demand is probably very low, but we want to be the best supplier that we can be. Yeah.
I felt somehow before that you are tech savvy, right? I felt about that. How do you leverage tech with business?
Tech is overlooked. It's super overlooked. A lot of people miss the point. I know a lot of people that don't really think tech is necessary. It is super necessary in today's world, especially in a city like Dubai. You need to be using tech. You need a website. You need to be accessible across all platforms. Like if you're on Instagram, be on TikTok at the same time. Be across all the platforms. What if Instagram shuts down? What if your reach is going to stop right there and your business is going to die? So be across all platforms as much as you can. Even if you don't have the foundation to do it, do it. Spend 5 minutes on that one platform per week, whatever. But at least you're doing it. And that's the power of tech. The power of reach is only used through tech, in my opinion. Word of mouth definitely is the strongest one that you can have, but tech makes your life way easier. Yeah.
What about Web3?
Web3. Okay, so Web3 is an interesting market. I think Web3, well, Dubai is the VAR authority is probably facilitating something to do with crypto. So we're here for it. And if we can accept payment with crypto in our shop, why not? Yeah.
Can you really?
I don't know yet. I don't know. I haven't really looked into it, but I think at some point it should be available. Probably. I don't know. Yeah.
This is great, man.
Yeah.
So, what could be your advice if there is any entrepreneur that at the beginning of their career or just a startup, what is the best advice that you can give it to them based on your experience and the learnings that you have had from many businesses and failures and struggles and success? What is that one thing that you can give them for as an advice?
Just
Only
do it.
one.
Just
Only one.
do it. Just do it. Just go for it. Do it, and then everything will happen. And if you want to do it slowly, fast, whatever, you're doing it. Do the mistakes. Repeat your mistakes. Learn from your mistakes, and get it done. That's about it. Whether you fail at it or anything, I think I reached to my stage today thanks to all the errors, mistakes, achievements I've done in my life. Thanks to my family and thanks to my friends and everyone that was around my life. There were many things that I've learned, but doing it, getting the stuff done is literally it. It's literally it.
What about if you are short in cash and you have like, a little bit of coverage, because mistakes and challenges will cost you a lot.
Yeah.
How can you optimize this?
I'm telling you, man, it's no matter what it takes, you got to do it. No matter what it takes. It's one thing that allows... So think about it like this. If you're looking for magic, find it in the unavoidable. Like whatever you're trying to avoid, that's where the magic comes from. Yeah, that's how I look at it. So, and you can only do the unavoidable by doing it, if that makes sense.
I do believe.
Yeah.
So, do you believe in pivoting from an idea to an idea for the same business?
I mean, that's a very hard one. It's pivoting ideas. It really depends. Like, could you elaborate a little bit on that?
Okay, I mean that maybe as hypothesis when we start any businesses. Where maybe we lack a lot of market information, data. Maybe we are just driven by our passion to solve some problems. Maybe it doesn't exist in the marketplace, right?
Yeah.
The challenge now, if you don't pivot, you will consume a lot of resources, right? Time, effort, money, and your energy as well. So the question now, how fast you can pivot and not be rigid in such case, to not just waste a lot of resources?
It does require a lot of planning, but again, like, you can only do the planning when you're doing it. If you're not doing it, there's literally no planning, obviously. And every time you plan something, you gotta analyze every step you're doing. When you're analyzing and improving based on your, like, let's say you have a report every end of the week, analyze that report and improve based on that. So every week by week, see where you're at. Look where you're at. What are you going to do next week to improve based on what you've done this week? I think that's one way to really keep doing what you're doing.
What motivates you in life?
My family. My family are the only reason I'm doing what I'm doing today.
And what inspires you?
What inspires me? Well, my son. I want my son to see me as an example. And to do that, I have to do the best.
What's your vision about yourself today?
I can do much more than I'm doing today.
How?
Well, there's a lot of things. Well, one of the main things that I have to look into, getting more sunlight. I definitely need more sunlight because I've been sitting in that shop every day. Yeah.
How do you balance this?
I can't. It's when you're committed to a business, the business owns you. You don't own the business. So sadly, I mean, sunlight is really required to have a better sleep, to have a better body or whatever. But like, I'm trying to work my way for the last 6 months to do that. So let's wait another 6 months, you can ask me.
So do you have a plan on that? Because I know one of the most challenging parts in entrepreneurship, that it's balancing your life, right? In all aspects.
Yeah.
So again, if you can live yourself in the same way that you're doing it today, so tomorrow will be the same. So did you have any time with yourself that you reflect how you can get out of this to see the sunlight?
Yeah, to buy a sunlight light from Amazon.
This is the only way.
That's the only way I found right now. I couldn't find any other way. So I try to rush everything I do in business, even as much as I can, because there's always going to be something. Because I don't have a second person on the business. You know, right now it's really consuming me. So what I try to do is at least once a week, get off at 4 p.m. and take my family out for a walk. Or to a mall, for example, to spend time with my baby and my wife. That's the best I can do right now, but I'm definitely working on something that has to balance my life and health-wise, specifically health-wise.
Do you believe in sacrifice? What's the biggest sacrifice that you have had?
I don't know if it's a sacrifice. I think at the end of the day is you gotta do what you gotta do. So if it takes to sacrifice whatever is around you, just go for it. This is what it takes, man. But I don't go out. I don't hang out with friends. Like the other day, I think 3 weeks ago, I saw a friend. We planned a lunch. We saw each other for half an hour and we both ran out right away. Like he was busy, I was busy. We just ran out right away. A very, very, very good friend of mine, childhood friend of mine. Shout out to Faris. And yeah, this is, again, the business owns you. You don't own the business pretty much.
What if I told you that there is an offer in a big corporate right now? You will see the sunlight and you will take 10x what you're taking right now, but you will avoid this entrepreneurial journey that you have had or the business and live in the corporate. What's your choice?
Well, you're already giving me like some kind of relief there. but I'm not gonna do it.
Why?
The reason why I'm not gonna do it is I reached to a stage where I have to build something for my son, and I want to build that right now. So we don't know how long that takes, but I'm gonna build it now, and I'm not gonna go build that for someone else.
But if you're talking about a building in terms of what? Are you talking about money, or are you talking about something else?
No, I want to spend as much time as I can around my son. I want to be there for him. That's the one thing, one of the main things that I want to do. I want to keep a legacy behind for him. I want to keep a business for him. I want to have him to go to the best school. I want him to, you know, that's one of the main things I want to do. And
But do you think
why
that
would I
if
go
10x will not fulfill what you need? I will not leave you.
It's not about
I will not
10x. I know. Look, short term is very important. Having a short term goal is very, very important. But I think longer term outbeats short term any time. I take the long term route. This is what I learned in the past. And
Do you enjoy the journey?
I love the journey. I love the journey. I really love the journey because I have a reason to wake up every morning.
What's main reason that drive you?
My baby. My baby is the main reason. Adam is my...
Anything else you have that it moves you except your family in life?
My
Or
family.
if I can come back before your family, what was your reason of moving?
Being independent. That was literally it. That was one of the main reasons. I wanted to make my father proud of... my father is an entrepreneur. I'm a third generation trader, but I've never wanted to rely on my father. He's helped me so much. He's supported me so much, and I want to show him the best version that he expected of me, more than he expected. And that's, you know, I want my son to have, you know, a good understanding and a good life and everything. Yeah.
So, English, Arabic, German, Tagalog, Greek, and Mandarin, right? I'm so inspired that you're speaking multi languages.
Yeah.
What was the reason behind that, and what was the aim? Because just having, you know, one language, it makes you irritated, you know, just two languages.
Yeah.
How did you reach this, and what was your aim?
So my father always motivated us to go blend in with other cultures, learn other traditions by traveling. And one of the main things I've done as a kid was traveling by myself. Even a lot of my brothers as well, they did travel by themselves. And I have a brother living in Switzerland. He's pretty Swiss right now. He's super Swiss. He's a hiker. He's in hospitality. Anything Swiss you can imagine, he's Swiss. But and when you're young, when you're below, let's say 18 years old or 20 years old, you always tend to pick up the surrounding you're in. So I was around a lot of my Greek friends who I'm still in touch with. My brother's actually right now in Greece with them while I'm but I picked up some Greek from them. Mandarin, I studied in China in 2006. I left my family when I was 15, and I studied there for a year, then came here. So yeah, you tend to pick up all these languages when you're surrounded by...
Great. So, if do you know The Sand of Time, right?
I heard of it.
Yeah.
Sounds very familiar.
Yes, it's Prince of Persia. If you have this machine right now, and if you come back, let's say 10 years back, okay, and you have the same life, what will be that thing that you would have to change in that time?
I wish I started earlier than I did. I did start very early, but I wish I started very early. I started my entrepreneurship when I was almost 14 years old.
So you want it earlier than this?
I've always wanted to sell something. I've always wanted to make my own money. To prove my dad a point. I just wanted to say, hey, Dad, I'm making my own money. And I was selling phone covers, scooters. Man, there was the Smile kit. I don't know if you remember those. Anything that I could find on Alibaba, I just imported and I tried to sell it. A lot of it didn't work.
At 14 years?
No, at 14 years, what I was doing is I was doing a graphics design online. So I was getting paid $5 through PayPal.
Wow.
$5 that I couldn't even cash out. So I was like buying game skins or whatever. But I was always motivated to prove my dad a point. Hey, Dad, I'm making money online. So it was, but like I did start it early, but I didn't take it that seriously. And I wish I took business seriously at a very early age. That's it.
What is the best business and close to your heart?
Candle making is so close to my heart. You have no idea. We started as candle makers, my wife and I. So we started making candles, and I wouldn't have become a supplier if I didn't love making candles. Like, you gotta love what you want to do. If you don't love it, don't do it. Don't do it.
When did you discover it? When did you discover that?
On our honeymoon.
How it comes?
So we went to an oyster farm, and we were like looking at these oyster shells that were always being thrown away, and we're like, what can we do with it? Okay, my wife is just looking at me for like 5 minutes, and she's like, let's make candles out of it. I was like, oh, that's great, let's do it, let's do it. And it's our honeymoon. I'm like, let's do it. Whatever she was gonna say, I was gonna say, let's do it. But it got too serious, and eventually here we are. Like, you see, if that didn't happen, we wouldn't have met.
And then from that moment, you had this idea in your mind. When did you just apply this idea?
Which idea?
Idea exactly. Of candles.
The idea of the candles was during our honeymoon. 2 weeks later, we started it.
Oh,
yeah.
After 2
Not
weeks.
as a supplier, as a candle brand.
Candle brand.
Yeah.
And why did you pivot from being a candle brand into just a supplier?
So I told my wife, you do your thing, I do my thing. And we both obviously help each other. But then she got pregnant. So I'm doing it all now. But she's obviously doing it all with me. I work for her.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
If I come back, what is that one thing that you regret in life?
Okay, so there's a few things here and there, but like the main thing that I regret in life, when it comes to business or when it comes to life? Both. Okay. Well, when it comes to business,
make it easy for you.
Okay. When it comes to business, leaving China early. So I left China at 16. Like, I stayed there for 1 year. And then later on, when I got like around 23 or 25, I'm like, everything comes from China. I should have finished my studies there. I should have finished studying the language there, and should have just started my business there, But I just realized that late. So that's one thing I regret. Yeah.
It's in business. What about life?
Life. One thing I regret in life. That's a little.
I know it's not an easy question, and you need to ponder.
It's really not an easy question because it's very deep as well. But I don't know. I think I can't really say it, but these things make who we are today. And without those things, again, I wouldn't have been here sitting next to you. This is everything you do in life. Sure, look back, look to the future, do whatever you want, but you're in the moment of now. Focus on now, do it today, finish it, get it over with, and move to the next step. Looking back, looking to the future, whatever you want to call it. It's a little bit of a waste of time. Sure, you should be thinking like that, but I've been doing it my whole life where I always look back to that moment specifically. I don't want to do it again because it wastes a lot of your time, man. You don't get that time back. You don't get that time back.
Last question that I will ask you.
Okay.
If there is any entrepreneur, she or he just listening to us right now, and they have still a great idea, they tried multiple times, and it was not working. What is your advice to them to keep them always on the game?
Nothing works in your favor. I'm sorry, but like that's the honest truth. Like nothing works in your favor until you make it work in your favor. That's how it works. And I say that because man, there's so much sacrifice you gotta do. There's so much things you gotta do to make it work in your favor. No, honestly speaking, I don't know if it's working in my favor or not.
But still, you have your vision.
Yeah. You have a vision, execute it, get it done with, and broaden that vision, make it bigger. That's literally it.
Ahmed, it was amazing hosting you. I love your energy, and
Thanks,
I know
man.
with your passion and your inspiration, motivation with your family, you will go beyond with your energy. Thank you for coming here today.
I appreciate it, Ahmed. Thank you so much.
Unleash is the bridge between my purpose and my mission. And my mission is unleashing the human greatness to its utmost potential.